Whenever I start my PMP certification video, the first thing I always say is, hello everyone, and blah 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 blah. But I know you all must have been bored by now, because honestly I'm trying to do something new, creative to do an intro for this particular video. But honestly, I'm clueless. I don't know, what is different. So let me start with what I'm good at, which is explaining these PMP concepts with real life examples, scenarios, so that you can actually understand the logic behind what and why we are doing. And in this video, I'm going to talk about task number 5 of domain people, which is ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. By the way, who am I? My name is Varun and I am the founder of EduHubSpot, a training company which teaches PMP, ACP, RMP, PGMP, PFMP, SAFE, you just name it, and we do that. Yes. My team and I have given thousands of PMPs to this industry. So let's go right into it. So we started with effective team formation, which is this particular chapter, and we are in video number 5th, which is adequately train, ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. So far what we have done: first, we built a team. Second, we made sure we have the ground rules set up with the team. Then we negotiated the agreements with some third party people. Fourth, we made sure we empowered the team members and stakeholders to work towards their strength, which was basically our last video. Link is in the description of the YouTube. Fifth, we'll ensure a team member and stakeholders are adequately trained. Training is so important. Like, what are you doing right now? By watching this video on YouTube, you are actually getting trained to pass the PMP exam. So let's go right into it. Now, before I even start, as you all know, I focus on PMP exam content outline, and I will show you my exam prep free tool, the content outline free tool, where I would be explaining these enablers for this particular task. Okay, so if you see, this is ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. Click on this. Now this is a free tool which is available to you. If you need it, you just need to go on my website www.eduhubspot.com, and you can talk to my chat person. They'll give you a walkthrough of the tool and how we teach and everything, and then you can have it. They will send it to you. If you don't sign up, that's also fine. They will still give it to you. Let's see. First, determine the required competencies and elements of training. Exactly. Before, for instance, when we work with a student, first we try to understand the background of that student. Then we tell them that this is how the training would be conducted. These are the different forms of training. And, our students select one of the training based upon their needs. Determine the training options based upon, exactly, that's what I was explaining. Allocate the resources for training. I have a list of mentors with me, and all of us together, deliver those training. We allocate a one-on-one mentor with each student. That's what we do. Why? Because we want to make sure you pass the exam. It's not an easy exam. Measuring the training outcomes, and once the training is done, we do a survey to understand how the training went. Does my student have any complaints or have any feedback points? We work on it always. Okay, and as you see, we have some questions, and we will be doing these questions at a later stage. Or by the way, you should do these questions on your own when you get this free exam content tool from my website www.eduhubspot.com. So the first enabler I have is determine the required competencies and elements of training. Yes, what do I mean? As a project manager, one needs to find out the required competencies stakeholders and team members will acquire. Like, before I start my video, I always tell them that this is the objective of the training, this is what you will learn, and this would be your training outcome. In this particular video, I really don't care how good of a project manager you are. You probably may be a better project manager than me, and I respect you for that. But what I care is you should pass this exam in your first attempt. And these videos are absolutely about that. Making sure that you understand the concepts, plus you make sure that how you apply those concepts to do some practice questions, and finally you pass this PMP exam with above target. That's what my training objective is. That's what I'm really after. Based upon the type of stakeholders, training needs may vary. Yes, I am right now sitting in New York and I train people from all over the world. When I say all over the world, it literally means all over the world. Customers may need training on the solution. Absolutely. When you create a product, they need, and they are using that product, they need training. Like these videos, how our website work, how you can go on videos, how you can watch some test questions or do some practice questions. You would need training, and we will walk you through each and every so that you can pass this exam. Team members may need training to build that solution for the customer. Exactly. I'm making this video. This is not the first time I'm making any video. I have made hundreds and thousands of videos in the past. But every time I go in front of camera, I rehearse first things, right? I look at it. Of course, most of the things are, approved because I just say everything, but at least I do a walkthrough of things, right? Everyone needs a training. You also need a training. I also need a training, right? So first of all, what is a training? Acquiring new skills and knowledge to develop oneself. This is one of my batch which I took. It's a classroom batch which I train, and exactly, you acquire new skills. You learn, like for this PMP, you are acquiring new skills on project management. You're acquiring new skills on agile, right? And you are acquiring skills to pass this exam in the first attempt. And there are many different methodologies. Like you do a classroom training, like the picture which I showed you. You do on-demand training, like based upon what your need is. You do interactive computer simulations. You do live virtual classroom. Like right now, because of COVID, if you see, everyone in the world is doing live virtual classroom. And I've been doing live virtual classroom like since the inception actually. You do document reviews, that's also training. On-job training, that's also training. We'll go through each one of them. So first is a classroom training. As the name states, teaching in a classroom. I know I look very different than this picture. It's been a long time, and I don't know if I'm wearing the same coat or not. No, it's a different coat at least. Oh, thank God. I was feeling embarrassed. But yes, teaching live in a classroom setup. That's your classroom training. Then what is live virtual classroom? Teaching live in a classroom setup, but virtually, like sitting in front of a computer and then teaching to all the people all over the world. That's how I target everyone. My goal for my company is world dominance. I use this word a lot, world dominance. And what do I mean by that? I want everyone in the world who is doing PMP, who is training for PMP, they use EduHubSpot. That's world dominance for me. And that's what I'm aiming towards, and that's what I will achieve. I promise to you. Then we have on-demand training. And what is on-demand training? Basically, it's a self-paced learning when the user learn based on their availability, just like our mentor program, where you're not taking a live class from us, but instead you are going through our videos, questions, practicing on your own. That's your on-demand training. Then we have document reviews. What document reviews is, it's more like a self-paced learning when the user reviews the existing documents. Like we will give you slides, we'll give you documents, and we'll say, hey, you know what, do it on your own. No support from us, but of course you are doing the reviews. I personally don't like this document reviews because when a user really needs the help, they probably have to go on Google. So it's not like a one-stop shop. I don't like. That's why we prefer more like hand-holding, because PMP is a difficult exam. We want to make sure you pass the PMP in first attempt. So hand-holding is required. Then we have interactive computer simulation. It's like a self-paced learning where the user can learn through interactive computer simulations. Like for my website test program, I call it like the test simulator. Why? Because we are giving you questions to practice for the exam, just like your real PMP exam, so that when you go for the real PMP, you know what type of questions you can see. That's how we are helping you out. That's your interactive computer simulation. And finally, we have on-job training, basically a training which is provided when an employee joins the organization. When you start, your team members come to you, give you training, what needs to be done, and then they might provide you with some documents like review this, do this repository, and things like that. That's your on-job training. How to determine the required competencies? Yes, first of all, work with the team to understand what is the skill set required, what is this to make sure that this solution works. Like for example, for me, when I was recording these videos, my goal was that people should understand these concepts in such a way that they should not get confused. Like they should put themselves in that same scenario and understand the concepts. Determine the skill required to learn to work with the new solution. Exactly, that's what I just said. Determine the comfort level or team buy-in to the new solution. Absolutely, I need to make sure that the team has that buy-in, right? You should like these videos before you can actually even start attempting to questions. If you don't like my videos, then this is not for you. Simple as that, right? So every person thinks differently, learns differently, and it's from person to person. Determine the type of training stakeholders may be interested in, like you may be interested in a self-paced learning or live classroom, which is my top favorite. But again, everyone has their own needs. So first thing what you should do is create a training plan. Stakeholders may need to be able to use the solution even after deploying it if adequate training is not provided. So first of all, have a training plan. Now, let's take, like for example, when you start, we determine a training plan that this is your homework 1, this is your homework 2, this is the deadline. Why are we giving you all these 5 days, 6 days, you will be taking a live training. Why am I doing it? Why are we doing all these things? To make sure that you understand that this is like basically to set the expectations right. Okay, first of all, understand the difference between your new knowledge and the current knowledge. Like we try to ask people, is this your first attempt of PMP or second attempt? Yes, a lot of people fail the exam also. So we ask that question. And if it's their second attempt, we ask these questions, how did they learn previously? So that, we know where the loopholes are, where we need to work more on. Okay, then stakeholders need to adopt to that new solution, which we are building for them. Like this is, mostly people say we want to do training using PMBOK 7, PMBOK 8 or whatever, right? No, I'm telling you, PMP exam is based upon exam content outline and not any PMBOK. That's just a reference. Exam is not coming from a reference book. No, PMI itself on their website has said that, right? So you have to be comfortable with the approach of using exam content outline instead. Every stakeholder may have taken their unique training requirements. Exactly, just like us, we have our own training things, and like we teach using real life examples, giving you examples like making a cupcake business, making a chicken dish, chicken curry tonight, or planning a wedding, buying a house, examples like these which you can relate to, so that you never forget a concept. And finally, pre and post assessment survey. Exactly, once the training is done, we ask for a survey. How did the training go? Did you like it or not? And things like that. But before you even take a decision, you really need to determine the training cost. And what do I mean by that is, like for example, not everyone can afford it, right? They might not be able to afford the full live class, but they might be able to afford a self-learning cost. So it depends, right? So estimate that cost. Like for me, I have a cost to the trainer. I have some logistic costs. If I'm training live, I need to book a hotel and the venue cost and stuff. Then the books which we need to print and ship, things like that. If it's an in-house, then editing software, like these videos, these are part of my training program. And this is just the beginning, I would say. All my videos are very, very detailed, and that's part of the program. So all this involves money, right? Editing cost, hosting cost, Like I just don't record videos and publish it on YouTube. No, it goes through series of cycles from editor to like making the slides, recording the slides, editor to do it, then finally publishing it on the website or YouTube. So there are multiple things involved, and that is cost involved. So you have to estimate the training cost, right? And of course you need to have a training calendar. Like if you go on my website, you will see when are we teaching, for what all courses we are teaching. So there is always the training dates which we publish so that you as a user can take that training, right? You need to have a registration page so that people can look at the agenda, registration, courses, make the payment. And like we have to upfront tell you that this is how much it will cost, this is the days, and all these things. Like when you are in the training, we do that pre and post assessment survey, we do the attendance also. So it's part of the overall plan. It's not just going and giving the training and get it done with. It's easy. And this screenshot, I actually took it from my gym when I used to go to gym, because there were different classes, they have that training plan. So I thought it's a cool idea and I just shared it with you. And we have definitely a difference between mentoring and pairing. So what is mentoring? Mentoring is basically a senior resource and mentors a new resource. On the opposite end, we have pairing, which is pairing stakeholders or team members, like they learn from each other. Like for example, what I will do, I will be your mentor and our group of or team of mentors will mentor you to pass the exam. But then you can say that, hey, I want to learn with so and so. Can I get someone in my country? Can I get someone in my city so that we can learn together? That's pairing, right? So mentoring is focused on the overall development. My goal is like right now, what I do is after you pass the PMP exam, I typically help my students on the resume, on their CVs, help them on the jobs. Like if they need some help related to jobs, I help them to do some mock interviews and things like that. I do that, and sometimes I even go ahead and refer the students to my known contacts so that they can get a job or they can look for a new job, things like that. In pairing, training is more focused toward a specific skill set. Like your pair member would be focusing on passing the exam, whereas I would not just be focusing on your teaching, your passing. Of course, that's my primary goal. Plus on top of that, getting a better job, good position, like the overall development. Mentoring could be formal or informal. Mainly it is formal, I would say, and pairing can also be formal or informal. And it's between more team members. With me, with mentoring, honestly, if you ask me, it's more of informal. I'm a very informal person. I talk to all of my students, whosoever reaches out to me. That's why I always claim, send me an email and I will definitely reply. My email actually is, if you want to test me out, test it, varun.anand@eduhubspot.com. I always reply to each and every email. I do that. Maybe I may take some time, but I will definitely reply. How to measure these training outcomes? After the end of the training, what we do is we send a survey, right? Same thing. As a PM, one needs to make sure team members may apply the knowledge to achieve the business value. Pre and post training surveys are done. Certificate received after successfully passing the training exam. Exactly, right? How we measure? We'll give you a pre-survey, talk to you. Once that is done, then after the class, we'll do a post-assessment survey. We'll do a pre-test, post-test, right? Throughout the journey. We'll give you the 35 contact hours, which will make you eligible for the exam. Then also when you pass the PMP, that's what the certificate I'm really after. That's what I always look for. And when I get those emails, when people tag me on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, trust me, no money, nothing can beat that. That sense of satisfaction, no money can buy it. And when someone does that to me, like I get, people sometimes, go out of the way, they send me gifts to my house. And the gift might be a simple, like a bouquet or a, bottle of wine. But when I receive that, I just feel top of the world that I was able to make a difference in somebody's life. So basically, okay, let's come back to track. This is the concepts of, ensuring the team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. We will now move to questions, and I will use my world famous elimination technique. one of your team member is underperforming on a recently assigned module. The reason is that she lacks experience of this type of work. However, she is the only resource on your team that is available to work on the module. What is the best solution to the problem? Guys, very good question. In your real exam, this is how you will get a question, like a scenario based question. Guys, this is an important question. A, consult your senior manager about giving her incentives to motivate her to do the work. Yes, why not? That's not a bad deal. You can do that. B, hire a new resource. Never ever select, I repeat, never ever select extreme choices. Hiring a new resource is an extreme first step. You will never do that. C, provide training to the team member. Yes, why not? That's a good choice as well. D, move her to another module she is qualified for. Yes, you can do that. However, this is not your first preferred choice. Even in the question, they didn't ask you what is the first step. Automatically assume they are asking you what is the first step you will do. So you will not move the person to the another module. So out of A and C, what is A? Consult your senior manager about giving her incentives to motivate her. First of all, as a project manager, make sure you are accountable. You are taking the decisions. Never give the decision to someone else. Option A is giving decision to someone else. So I am out. C, provide training to that is my first step. So that's your option number C, which is the correct choice. Okay, let's quickly do another question. Your sponsor has reached out to you as she wants to know the training plan for your team. Which document should you refer to? Give her the correct answer. A, configuration management plan, performance assessment plan, resource management plan, and communication management plan. Okay, so we have not covered all of these right now. We will be covering them in plan, which is our chapter number 2, which is only available exclusively on my website www.eduhubspot.com. A lot of people get confused on configuration and change management. Configuration is about the setup, the modules, what are the things which are in scope, out of scope, on the configuration aspect. This is more talking about where the training plan is mentioned, and honestly it's actually your resource management plan. Once again, I will talk about this in detail in my plan the project work video, which is our correct choice. Okay, so there are some more questions on the exam content outline tool as well. You can probably see it over here. We will probably do that. Like I'll again go to my website, talk to the chat representative, and they will give it to you. This is a good question. Okay, let me do that. You recently got a new project in a different country. The country is prone to a lot of calamities. After doing some analysis, you found out that most of the issues can be prevented by implementing a training. What should you do next? Very good question. A, estimate the cost of the training. Why not? Absolutely. If you have to implement training, you should estimate the cost. B, update the resource management plan. If you don't know your cost of the training, how can you just go ahead and start working towards the training and start talking about the resources need to? So B is definitely not the good choice, and you can see that over here. Wrong answer. C, talk to your sponsor. Yes, you can talk to your sponsor as well, but not as my first step. Sponsor would ask you how much will it cost, how you are conducting the training, things like that, right? So C is out as well. D, review the lessons learned of a previous similar. You can do that, but it's a new project in a different country, so not necessarily you will have a lessons learned. So D is out as well. So the correct answer should be A, which is estimate the cost of the training. You can also click here to see the answer explanation. This will give you, and you also have a video where we are explaining this question to you. Okay, let's quickly do the study focus revision. Focus on all the different types of training. Easy chapter, honestly. Focus on the training calendar, focus on the estimation of the training costs, and then of course the difference between mentoring and pairing. Yep, we are done with this. After this, we will talk about which is engage and support virtual teams. As we all know, that's important. But before you go, make sure you write a comment on the YouTube. Please like my video, the traditional things which I ask you to do, because I'm gonna come up with so many new videos that if you have not liked or subscribed to my YouTube channel, you would not come to know about it. So you have to do that. Please do that. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later.